today's video, we're going to cut this bumper so I can install a winch. We're going to cut these recovery points off. We're going to cut some off the bottom of this bumper for more ground clearance, weight savings. But the main reason why I cut in the top is because I cannot get a winch in here unless I take the bumper off, install the winch, and then put the bumper back on. If you saw my video where we built this bumper and I put it on, I don't plan on taking it off ever again. If I take it off, I hope that's going to be the day that it stays off and I get a different one. So enough talk, let's get started. 10mm socket, take off the nuts on the back side of the grill. Phillips head screwdriver to remove the screws mounting the headlight bezels. And 2 screws for the blinker. Then that's going to reveal one more nut for your grill, 10mm. And the last mounting nut. And around the inside of the engine compartment on the driver's side is the wiring harness down there for the grill. Unplug that, whole wire comes out, and all the wires stay attached to the grill. Now let's talk a little bit about my plans. These are rough areas with the tape that I've got where I'm thinking about cutting it. My winch plate is right down here. It measures just below 9 inches from the bottom of the winch plate to the top up here. You've also got this slant right here where the beautiful Move logo is. That's about to go away. This doesn't leave hardly any room for the winch. The winch I have is 10 inches tall. I could take that control box and I could move it and mount it somewhere in the bumper. It wouldn't be so tall. But I still have the problem with getting the winch in there. So I want to cut across this line right here. And then take these factory cuts here. Cut all the way over the top of the bumper on both sides and lift this whole section up out of the top. That way I'll be able to work on the winch if I need to, set the winch down there easily with no issues. And that takes care of mounting the winch and all that. Now the reason why I'm cutting so much off the bottom is because this is originally made for a truck or a Ford Explorer. But Move, they mainly make bumpers for big heavy duty trucks. That's why it's such a big heavy duty bumper. So big coming all the way down, but it's a very heavy bumper, 1/4 inch thick steel. There's no need really for me to have all this down here. Now the winch plate does come down a little bit. I will be cutting some of the weld areas off when I cut this off down here. I'm not too worried about that. These toe points or recovery points are huge. Hope I don't ever need a recovery point, but to me, with the size of an XJ, the way it looks in the front, and the way this comes down so far, big thick bumper and these huge recovery points, to me it just doesn't look right. Adds a whole lot of extra weight, and even though my daughter did such an excellent job of welding these recovery points on, I'm gonna have to cut them off. I already asked her permission. She said, I don't care. It's your bumper, do what you want. So I'm gonna cut these off and I'm gonna get some recovery points in the future to put back up here. So you can see where I was planned on cutting all the way across here. I was gonna keep these recovery points and then not have to mess with the bottom of the winch plate at all. But I've already changed my mind with that. I don't like how big these are, the recovery points. They're really, really big. The bumper already sticks out pretty far from the grill just to accommodate the winch, but I understand that. Not really too big of an issue with that, but then these recovery points come out even more and droop way down. There's really no sense for that. So now my new plan is I'm gonna come right across this factory bend right here. So we're gonna cut these points off, and I'm going to cut right here at the top of this tape line all the way across here, all the way across onto the other side, and then we're going to come up and use this bend line here, cut all that off, and then come straight across right there on the side. when I was planning on coming around and cutting here, it kind of changes the lines of the bumper. I don't really want to do that. So this will maintain some of the look. And with the factory bend right there from Move Bumpers, I'm hoping to cut below that, make it look a little bit better. This may look like total garbage, not sure. But even if it does look like garbage, it's not a loss because I don't really like the way the bumper looks now anyway. So if I just make it a little bit better, it's an improvement. Saving weight, saving ground clearance. I don't know. Now hours of cutting and grinding. Let's get with it. Tried to make it this last little bit with the rest of this cutting wheel. I couldn't make it. Dang it! Well, the cutting part's done, at least to get the winch in. I'm pleased. It definitely looks better with that front on there, but you just can't get a winch in there. Now once I install the winch, it's gonna look right, I think. If not, who cares? It's utility more than looks. Now what winch have I chosen to go in this thing? Let's check it out, do a test fit. This is the winch of all winches. A winch so tough that if Chuck Norris needed one, this is the winch he would have. A winch that all other winches look up to, aspire to be. A winch that is at the top of every mountain pass. A winch that will never let you down. A winch with so much prestige that when seen on the front of your Jeep will turn the heads of every respectable off-roader. What is this winch, you ask? Let's see. Nah, just kidding. It's a cheapo Harbor Freight winch, 9,500 pound truck SUV winch. It was on sale for 270 bucks. Can't beat the deal. Now if you follow this build, you'll know that this is mainly a daily driver street Jeep. Some trail use. I hope I never have to use the winch, but if I do, maybe just a couple times a year. I picked a steel rope because it's cheaper, it is heavier, but also it's gonna last longer just riding back and forth on the street. I don't have to worry about changing it out as much as you would synthetic rope. Now, when I get serious about wheeling, of course I'm gonna get a synthetic rope because they are better. And I got this thing on sale. Super, super cheap. So it looks like it fits. Actually, I'm gonna have to cut some of the bracing on the inside of the bumper, which I figured I was gonna have to cut some of that. Control head's gonna go on top right here. Actually, let me show you. That's gonna be on top like that. Old school fair lead on the front like this with a cable coming through. All the weight that I'm gonna lose by cutting away the bumper, we're adding back times 5 probably. All right, enough stalling, keep cutting. Another thing too, I don't even know what I'm doing with this kind of stuff. I don't even know how to cut this. Now Selena, she's a professional welder. That's my daughter. She welded this. She did 3 passes on this, did a root pass, and then 2 other passes. She's got names for them. I don't know what they are, but I think I'm just going to try to cut straight in this way as close to the bumper as I can get. Just try to cut in that direction all the way around. Save me some grinding maybe, but I may not even have enough cutting wheels for this. It took me 2 to cut this top part off. Anybody knows what they're doing, it's like, man, I could have done that with a half a cutting wheel. Whatever, I don't know what I'm doing. So a lot of times these are videos of how not to do something, but I'm stalling again. Hallelujah, we got that one done. Whew. Selena, great job on the wheels. That right there was ridiculous to get off. Now I gotta do another one. Of course, I'll be grinding all this down, make it nice and smooth again, so I can paint it, make it look decent. Good job, Selena. So I don't bore you to death, I'm not gonna show you the other one. It's the same thing as this one. Pain in the butt. Alright, as you can see, we're getting there. I got the recovery points cut off of it. Both sides, got it ground down nice and smooth. So now I'm planning on making a cut right here at the bottom. Right where that tape line is, not the lower one. That was one I changed my mind, but this upper one right here. And then I'm gonna come up when I get away from the winch plate. I'm gonna come up to this corner over here and then try to follow this factory bend on both sides. That's why I didn't worry about grinding that down. It's going to come off anyway. All right. Alright, so now I got this line cut all the way across the bumper. All the way across the front. Come over on the wings. And of course I ran out of cutting wheels. Had to go to Tractor Supply, get some other ones. So I bought like 9. And the ones I bought today are way better than the ones I had before, so it's not going to take hardly any more. I think I've used 2, or I'm on the second one and there's still life left in it. Anyway, I'll use them at some point. But the last thing I got to cut is in here. Look here at the winch plate. And this is my cut line here, so all this below that's going to go away. So the winch plate goes all the way down like that and is welded. So I'm going to cut across here and then cut the winch plate all the way across there on both sides, because now all that's holding it is the bottom of the winch plate. These welds right here in the front, and it'll fall out. That is exactly what I was hoping for. Look at that. Slim, way more ground clearance. Kind of comes up at the tire, gives a little bit of style. Kept my lights, which I like. Now, just need to do a bunch of cleaning up inside, all down here. Give it a nice little paint job. Put the winch in there. Now it looks good again. That's one thing I definitely love about using spray paint, is I change my mind a lot on my vehicles, especially bumpers and things like that, and I tend to mess up a lot. So you spray paint it, you mess up, have to grind something off, cut something off, whatever. When you spray paint it back, it matches. And it's durable enough for what I need it for. Unfortunately now I gotta wait till all that dries. I'm gonna go ahead and just wait, let it dry overnight, wait till tomorrow, put the winch on it, and see what it looks like. But for you, it's just going to be a couple seconds. See you tomorrow. And just like I promised, it's the next day and everything is installed. Now I did have to grind some things down, make some clearance for this winch install. I didn't show the winch install because more than likely you're going to have a completely different winch, different setup, different bumper and all that. But let me show you some of these issues I had. So obviously cutting the hole out, there's plenty of room to put the winch down in there. But one of the clearance issues I had was right down here. If you look, you can't see too good, but the bolt for the fair lead, the bolt head in there is touching the winch. So I actually ground down some of the housing of the winch and ground down some of the head of the bolt, both sides, and got just enough. You can see how close that is. So that's something you want to look out for. Other than that, wasn't too bad. Both my battery cables ran all the way up into the engine compartment and battery cutoff switch inside there. This is for your winch controller. Plugs in, keep it inside. You can easily move the lever to free spool and engage. That's something that would have been more difficult if I would have left the entire move bumper top on here, because you'd have had to just reach in over here through this little hole and turn. Same over there. But now with all that cut off, there's plenty of access to get to everything, and way more ground clearance, as you can see at the bottom. So now it actually looks more like a Jeep bumper and not a big heavy duty diesel truck bumper. So now it's definitely time to take it on some trails and have some fun with it. I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting the channel by watching, liking, commenting. Whatever it is you do to support the channel, I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Have a great day.